Yes. What's popular, YouTube? Another day, another demo. And it is, if you thought yesterday was spicy with the top 5, rounding out with having ROPS in play, you've got another thing coming today. Today's going to be like rubbing ghost peppers on your eyeballs, habanero on your nipples, Pepper X in your ears, and honestly, it's going to be like dripping some honey in your mouth. It's also going to be kind of nice. We're going to be like, whoa, I didn't expect that. That was kind of glorious. I don't know where I'm going with this intro. Okay, what we got going on today to bring it into the top 6 before we round up this top 10 is a player that nobody expected to be here. I know you've heard that before. This time, I'm seriously not kidding. This is a player who, and I'm going to let you guess. Don't you dare skip forward. This is a player who has gotten a lot of attention. A lot of attention, okay? He's been doing podcasts, he's been doing interviews. He was regarded as a very risky pickup, a very expensive and risky pickup. He's a player who showed the world a level of work ethic that we had never seen before in CSGO. That's right. It's Blame F. This was somebody who, when I was working out the rest of this list, completely flew under my radar because complexity have slipped out of the top 10. But when we look at these, we look at Blame F this year, it's just pretty extraordinary. We talk about his stats in these last 12 months, 2020. Let me turn off my... Make sure my air conditioning's off. Okay, the stats in the last 12 months here. Now, one thing I look for is that he has games, is that like the stats are not being padded by these kinds of cups that only have tier 2 competition in them, like these home suite home cups, right? Because this makes you look great, but you don't play the highest level of opponent in these cups, right? And some teams, depending on the level of team, like Complexity, are still that scrappy dog that have a lot to prove. So on their way up, they're going to be playing a lot more on average than a team like Astralis, who will basically play cream of the crop matches alone. This has a huge impact on the stats. We can see there's 5 home sweet home cups. By the way, I think these are $40,000. I don't know if it's $40,000 for first, but if it is, they won $200,000 just from these cups. Pretty unbelievable stuff. I don't know if it's $40,000 for first. Maybe that's too high. It might not be that high. I know it's $40,000 the event, but a good chunk of change just from winning those from a little tiny small event. But it's a situation where he didn't fall off for any of the bigger events this year. One of the most stacked events of the year was DreamHack Open Fall, and he only ended up playing 6 maps. They actually went out very, very late there. But 1.24 rating in a situation where his team definitely failed is a pretty unbelievable stat line, right? We're looking at a plus 113 KD for season 12 of ESL Pro League, 1.21 rating, and then the same basically over here. Not the same level of KD, but the same rating. Blame F this year has shown a lot in terms of his individual performances. Like, his overall statistics are pretty remarkable, and again, that's even without taking out any of the fluff or qualifiers or anything like that. All the important events, you got the Blast Showdown, the best of 3 elimination. He's 5 maps in, and which is 1.5 series, but then ends up with a pretty fantastic rating across those maps. And so for what it's worth, I think he's shown a lot. So who is Blame F? How could he be in the top 6? I know there's a couple other names that that people are expecting to see and maybe expected to see here before Blame F. This is my prediction for who will actually sneak into top 6 on HLTV's list, and who I really didn't realize was quietly farming all year long as an IGL, as a lurker, as a I get a very, I guess, very prolific player in terms of he's, of all the players that are up there in the tier 1, he's competed in quite a few events overall. Blame F, Bait F, as they like to call him. He's been known to pull off a lurk or two. All right, and for me, his signature map and signature position is the Danish transplant IGL. You put him on Nuke and you throw him on the T side. We'll finally get to look at a T side demo, and this is where he'll put up some pretty cool performances. So here, he's got great CT sides as well. Like we've got 41 kills in this OT match versus FaZe. He's got a 30-9 here versus Big Clan on Nuke as well. And I don't know. Yeah, this is the one. 30-9, 2.21 rating on this one at IEM Beijing. That's pretty extraordinary. A 1.54 here versus FaZe Clan at DreamHack Masters Europe. But that's not the match that we want to watch. The match that we want to watch is versus an even better team. And I think to tell the story of Blame F not winning all of his matches in the last year, placing, kind of having middling performances as a team, outside of a good start and high placings at the beginning of the year over at I guess 4th to 6th in Blast Spring Series. Not even that great. I guess yeah, just overall, like just to tell the story of how most of the time, his team did not win this year outside of these small cups, but he was absolutely farming, which is kind of unreal. I know he does the most work on the team. He says he death matches for 3 hours before games on game days, and that's on top of all the preparation. There was some crazy stat about the amount of demos that Blame F watches, that he's watched like 15% of all of the demos uploaded to ESEA Refrag, something crazy like that between him and Kita. That he specifically created a system that has been interesting to see grow and develop, and then has brought the team up from what was basically a dead brand in CS go with Complexity. That's a legendary, historic brand, to a team that is now just like one that you don't even look at as underdogs, right? Ever since Blast, the story has changed dramatically for Complexity, where now teams are underdogs versus them. That's just not something, the litmus test for Cloud9 was, can they take down the Juggernaut? That's kind of nuts, right? Because Let's Build the Juggernaut was a meme. But Jason Lake and by picking up Blame F, it's totally changed the course of the narrative, the story for Complexity, the organization, and for Blame F as himself too, like just as a player, finally getting a chance, the right amount of space, the ability to pick better talent, and look what it's resulted in. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at this for Blame F? Let's go ahead and take a look at this demo versus Vitality. Yes, they lost the match, but we, of course, here on Coach Lau, we're only watching one half, and that's the T half where Blame F won 17-9. We can look at a half where he had tons of impact. Team didn't show up too much, and they lost. But why don't we take a look at his signature position here on the T side? It's a verbose intro. It is a really, really cool. Is a really cool person to have in CS. Blame F is 100% a super cool person to have inside of CS, because of his work ethic, and because of the fact that he's taken a team from that was, maybe a team that looked like it was overpriced and wasn't putting up results, to a team that now puts up results and is already looked at again as a favorite in many of their matches. Now, we had a small drop-off towards the end of the year, but that's, of course, Poison had to go into an emergency surgery recently, and that meant that they had to play with a stand-in with their star opper, which is really, really sad, and I don't know if Poison's okay yet. I think Jason Lake said he'd give us updates when he's got them, but yeah, didn't want to count their IEM Global Challenge quite as much. The one red event of the year for Blame F, and it was a pretty awful situation, I think, for him and the team. So what makes blame F the player that he is. A lot of anti-stratting, right? This is a style that I didn't think was going to work out too well in the long term because of the amount of work that you have to put in to consistently keep yourself fresh. If you play a very strict style of Counter-Strike, it's not going to work in an era of Counter-Strike where there's oversaturation, and absolutely not one where there's a ton of online matches with oversaturation, right? Unless you've got Blame F, who is willing to keep up with every bit of work that anybody else does and do even more. And you can quote him in saying that he said he can never get burnt out. And for as long as that's true, we can see that he's proven that his style and system works well. I still feel like it'll be hard for them to get to that number one spot. Maybe that's why the results are not quite meeting up with this year. But I think that's a question for other teams to try to answer. But in terms of Blame F himself, it seems like his game plan and the way he works around the map is specifically not getting caught off guard. And he is a big part of the T side, and he's a big part of what the anti-strat actually results in, right? He uses himself to take advantage of the information that he watches in the demos with his positions on T side, especially here on Nuke. And of course, he can hit a mean shot as well. You can see the awareness is very good here. There would have been a great match, actually. Juggernaut versus the Colossus, where Blame F wins through spams through the hut. Oh, shoot. I wish I remember that. That was also T-side Blame F, but this one could also be interesting. This is one where I'm trying to answer questions for myself, right? Like, what is the deal with Blame F and how he was able to find the openings versus Vitality and what it actually means. Maybe we keep X-Ray on, to be honest, and see what Blame F does and how he works this position. Because it's got to be unnerving, right? Like, one thing is that if you play Complexity on Nuke, Blame F is going to be lurking outside. And at first, he was standing on the right side of Mini, outside of Mini, and waiting in this blind spot and waiting for the chance to go down Mini or to walk outside. And then at a certain point, he did start getting called out by certain teams who are flash peeking on the right, from their perspective, the left side of Mini, and that made it hard for Blame F to do his job. So I guess we're kind of paying attention to the evolution here a little bit. So he'll win a duel versus Shox as he also leads his team downstairs. And I don't know if this will be called that Shox would realize there are more players, because again, he's entering as the lurker, which makes it a very difficult name tag to respond to. However, I think they're flanking now from the back of Secret. So Complexity are here getting their claws in quietly and trying to punish the rotates, and it works out pretty well. Now, they do have the late flank in from Secret, but it won't result in anything just yet. I'm going to keep this here because I actually need to change my bind to make sure that my volume doesn't get too loud. And yeah, so that was the cool thing about that is, of course, continuing to walk even though he was spotted, because it's him. If he's lurking, it doesn't necessarily mean anything if you get that player going downstairs, especially on Nuke. Like, a lurk on different parts of different maps will result in different information. Like, if you kill somebody in lower tunnels on B on Dust 2, then, and you have tunnels cleared out, I mean, you just know, right? Like, that it's going to be some kind of long hit, or you have at least 40 seconds before anybody comes back to tunnels. Like, both the information here, whether it's like a hard read or just good information, is really incredibly valuable from that one kill alone. But on Nuke, it's a little bit different. I'd say you could kill a lower lurk, but they might just actually be trying to suss out a kill on a default and not really have a plan behind it just yet. There's lots of situations to go into Secret early on and see if the CTs are playing within there. Try to punish them as many times as you can. So now we're going to go back to the same thing. There's nobody here to fight him straight up, but we've got the jump spot, looks like from Apex, and oof, imagine if that was punished. Well, still an interesting spot because it allows them to kind of take charge and get into the site, and I think this is spotted. Wow, he actually got the info on Apex. He heard the door swing open, but I remember watching this from Apex perspective, and he had no idea. Now we realize he had no idea that Blame F had saw him, but that was an easy kill for Blame F. All right, and shoot, is that actually the round one? Oh, 1v2. Okay, let's see if he can pull that off. Yes, he finds the timing. Oh my gosh, I thought the round was already done and over. That's so nice. 4 kills, and the 1-on-3 clutch for Blame F. That's value. Okay, let's go back to outside. We should start watching more T sides. I was getting really bored of watching the CT sides, same spots, especially a lot of CT does too. God, it'll be sick when we introduce like one new map that we can just go super in depth on. That gets shoved into the active duty pool. And then we could see, follow the meta development of the map and see where people go with it. So this is just versus pistols, but I think it's really interesting, even just versus pistols and demos like these, to be watching to see like how Blame F reacts and what his movements are. So of course the double value of a lurk in Blame F's position is that he can punish rotations, he can punish aggressive pushes by himself. He can be a part of an execute when it comes time to it. He can also be somebody who creates an enormous flank, confirms information. There's so much value in having one person be able to be trusted to live the entire round and hold off one part of a map, right? So there the smokes go down to activate his lurk. They're trying to make it seem like it's downstairs, of course. Blame F makes what would normally be a pretty big mistake in making noise outside of hell, but there's no one around to hear it quite yet. He'll continue on into heaven, and most players are dead. So this becomes a round one and done. Let's move forward. Good situation. And now we'll have Blame F back to basics outside. We've got a flurry of smokes. I don't even know what smokes are going down out here. What the hell is this? That looked honestly like three T smokes were thrown. I don't know if they were interrupted by the Molotov or what, but it'll definitely cause confusion. I don't know if that was the goal, but if it was, I think mission accomplished. So back a mini, and again, you might know Blame F's out here. Can you do anything about it? That's the big question. What's Blame F want to do? He's here to try to catch a lurk, but can you really catch Ziwu off guard? I don't know. You'll probably get mixed answers when it comes to that question. So we speed things up a little bit. He's making a ton of noise outside. He's waiting for this push to the back of mini. He's trying to see if someone's playing aggressively outside to catch him off guard. Because this is it. Like, you're trying to hemorrhage the bleeding, right? You know that every single round that you don't test outside, Blame F is there alone. Shocks is saying last round in Discord, please guys, let me punish him. Let me fight him one-on-one. This is you know, this is sweat off the brow. If you're able to kill Blame F early on in the round, back here, right? You kill him in secret, who knows what else is going on outside where the rest of the team is. You kill him back here and you have outside control, then you can confirm the default, right? Then that's complexity playing from the back foot completely. But they can't kill Blame F. He outduel Shocks. The flash is not good, and I think it was meant to go that side of red. And that is a kill he got so early, the run up. This is interesting. It's actually a pump fake. So, okay, so let me explain this for a second. So the idea here is that if the timing is so good, listen closely, the timing is so good here that complexity could run downstairs and plant lower probably, all right? The timing is so good here. So because the timing is so good here, for Vitality, their hand is forced. They have to rotate, right? Because they know that complexity, if they wanted to, could get lower. So here's where complexity become huge assholes. Even though they could have ran lower and committed really hard, they know for sure that they can pull rotates because the timing is so good. They kill the guy outside red, no trades. They're already ready to go downstairs. He's already seen 3 people. They will rotate. So now we're going to force those rotates. And Nuke is all about pulling people onto the ground, right? Out of heavens, into the rafters, onto the floor, into the vent, into lower, take upstairs. If that's what you want to do. So what do complexity do instead? They run, run, run. They stop, and then they come back to outside. But look who is aware. It's actually Zeus, who catches one off with his op, and now it's a bit of a reset, and he's having a round for himself. It was actually in big garage, but they leave Blame F to lurk to even punish the rotate back, and eventually he'll get traded out. And ultimately, Complexity win. They get the upstairs. They had Masuda rotate down early, or Apex, and they're able to go upstairs off that information. So it does get a bit sketchy when you have, Ziwu in a big garage still waiting for you, or like trying to opt from behind you to take that risk. But the strat works out in the end, and it could have blown back in their face, right? The upstairs, the light upstairs hold could have gotten way more than it was supposed to, and that's just Counter-Strike. Like that's how it goes. But that's the idea behind the strat, and that's how it goes. Even if you have a really big round from Ziwu, it gives you some opportunities to still punish. So Blame F gets caught crossing. I don't know if I think he got off on the way out. So maybe he thought he could come back and not get spotted on the way back in. And, walking out Squeaky is so powerful. It's so powerful. But, RPK, he's so ready. He's so incredibly ready. He's one on top of the hut and one inside of Mini. My goodness. Blame F kills both. 3 up, and it felt like he was going to kill the whole team if Ziwu wasn't there with the Molotov. But the attempt was nice. The walkout Minis are insane. Like, if you get out to the front of the vents, nobody spots you, and, like, RPK doesn't do something like that, it can just become way too late too quickly. Because if there's somebody on the top of hut that wasn't watching that, he doesn't want to fight you when you're already outside, like near opposite vent. But Vitality do pull off the round. However, Glocks only, and they kill Apex, no trade. What does this mean? How will they call this, actually? There's 2 rotating downstairs, and yeah, it's a pretty decent crossfire from Decon and Control, and there will be no round to win. That's round 9 over. Okay, we're back to AKs, and we're back to outside, and it looks like Blame F is going to press up for the lurk once again. He did get opt. It feels like ops have been a great solution here for Vitality as an adjustment. Shock's opping does take the edge off if you're, missing a few bullets in your spray. But okay, he's actually moved up to red, and they throw these smokes at a specific timing, but this might actually be a pretty good position for Shocks. Let's see how it goes. Blame F is kind of just trying to wait patiently on this angle, and he sees him. He sees him. And he's just going to swing. My goodness, he plays perfectly off the information. Another situation where he's very careful, like where we saw Apex get spotted, but he didn't get spotted, and then he trusted he could just go for the kill. That is unlucky for Shocks, but you have to credit the patience there for Blame F. And it looks like we've got some very, very favorable trades upstairs, and the round is over. Again, his kill outside, whether he's getting the first kill or just living too long, is what is driving Vitality nuts. Vitality are calling the tabloid. They're like, please, TMZ, find out where this man is. We need the info. Every round. He's like a mosquito bite that you can't quite grab. You've got this swell on your leg, but it's underneath your jeans. You can't find it. It's bothering you. It's itching you. But you can't seem to do anything about it. That is what Blame F is trying to do. Make you annoyed, right? Make you watch your back inside of Mini, even if they've never even seen you outside. Makes you clear everything. See, look, they're going the 2-man clear. And oh my god, how annoying is that? They waited so long, but Blame F waited even longer. That is wild. The double rotation down from Secret, and Blame F catches them off. They're pissed. They are pissed. But now we're connecting in the 2v1. I feel like JKS and Blame F, two of the most reliable players in a 2v1 situation. Of course, your lurker is typically going to be, your your most clutch player, but look who wins. Holy hell, it's Zebu. Wow, I thought that was for sure over. Especially after that punish. The 1v2 is beautiful. With an off from the back of the site on B. Well then. Ooh, Jormungandr. Oh yeah, I realized that this is it's the infinite dragon thing. And it's and yeah, I think I said it was Finnish as a joke, but it's actually it's not was it Icelandic? It's like what's the word? Is it Icelandic? It's anyways, it's like I remember I did a puzzle where it was like try to draw this dragon, the Jormungandr, with one line without overlapping. Something like that. I think that's the same thing, right? I hope so. I probably sound pretty crazy right now. Can't even get 2 there. Unlucky. Damn near wrapping up the half. Fast take upstairs. Okay. They're delaying. Oh, the collat. Okay. No good guns to work with, but the 2 flashes on the late take. Let's see how they do. No flash assist there on RPK, but could have been broken. Blame F drops his spray. Masuda outduels him. We move on to the next round. I just realized we didn't put his resolution on. I'm so sorry. I'm using his the settings from yesterday. Shoot, I'm so sorry. We're using Rops' settings right now for Blame F. I'll go after and check to see what res. So he's never gone. He hasn't gone for the what I call the credit card swipe. I think somebody asked where credit card is. It's a position right here behind Blame F. I call this the credit card swipe. So people throw these wall smokes outside, and then this is credit card, and then they'll just like walk through, which I call the swipe. And that's one way of lurking outside. But most of the time, he's been walking into big garage. Here we'll come up top silently. He's in a proper position to pull off a crazy play. I mean, he could really do something interesting here. Getting into heaven this early with all the CTs underneath him. But it looks like our Apex is probably watching the back of this. Yeah, he's just sitting there, right? Or is he lower? Oh, he's lower. Oh my god. Is this a winnable round? Where is the bomb's in the ramp? Okay, that's why no one was watching it. In their perspective, they can kind of lose a play. They can afford to lose somebody in that spot. So, just to get the info. Okay, so dodges a flash. Everyone dies. And then we move on forward into the final round of the half. I think it's been a pretty interesting demo. It's kind of refreshing to see the T sides and have some new stuff to talk about. Focus down on a new map. When we do more different T sides, that'll be a good idea, I think, to do. Once again, we're going for the classic here. We don't have anybody coming up into him. And I mean, for real, like, his job is actually just... Like, look how active this is for the CTs, but Blame's job is literally just wait longer than the CTs. Like, he's going to get this kill. There's no way this gets cleared. Yeah, that's... That's it. He's always just there outside. They really need to do a better job of clearing that back a mini. But they didn't want to allocate the resources. They didn't want to allocate the resources. Oh, shit, not again. Oh, I always do that once a video. Man. I didn't switch back to full screen once. Okay. I forgot to turn that off right after. All right, so that's it. That's who I think is going to be in the top 6. That's who I think is going to be in the top 6. Who's going to be top 7? You have to come back tomorrow to find out. This is a difficult one. This is very difficult for me to try to predict based on what we're seeing. Blame F just kind of like got in there, and I was like, God damn, is it actually? Would it actually be Blame F? Well, that's my prediction. So, what do you guys think? And who do you think is next? Let me know. I'll see you tomorrow.